Hi everybody, I'm Howard and this is Otta's Retirement Corner. So did I just commit Medicare fraud? And before I go on, please don't turn me in, don't call Medicare, don't call Elon Musk, don't call anybody. Do me a favor, don't reveal what I'm about to tell you. So there's a secondary moral to this story, and it's about the fact that physicians are willing to work with retirees or people on Medicare to get the things done they need to have done. But here's what happened. Several weeks ago, I noticed from playing softball that I had a pain suddenly develop in my groin area up through a little bit of my abdomen. Um, it wasn't horrible. It was a little uncomfortable when running and doing sit-ups. And I've been playing softball with it and exercising with it and just kind of ignoring it and icing it and hoping it goes away, like most things go away. Come to this weekend, I had another softball tournament, played 4 games over the weekend, and it was extremely difficult to run because of the pain come Sunday afternoon. Played again Monday, again very difficult to run. Played again Tuesday, not quite as bad, but still bad. So I had texted my doctor's office and said, hey, here's the circumstance. I'm guessing it's a muscle or ligament issue. Could you issue could you give me a referral for some kind of imaging, whatever you think is appropriate? And they came back and said, well, under Medicare rules, you really have to come in here first, but they got me in, right away Tuesday. So I went in there and, my doctor gave me a cursory examination. There's nothing obvious. He understands the same thing I understand, that it's probably a soft tissue injury. And he said, okay, the best way to look at these is getting an MRI. He said the problem, however, is most of the time, and this is true, and I've experienced this with orthopedics, before Medicare will pay for an MRI, they want you to get an X-ray. Now, it's kind of ridiculous because, every time I go into the orthopedist office, they immediately do an X-ray. They know nothing's going to show up. And this was the same case. He said to me, we're not going to find anything. And I said to him, we're not going to find anything on an X-ray. He said, I understand that, but we have to do it. It's just the rules. He also said that, based upon the examination and your explanation of the symptoms, they still may not approve an MRI. So what he did was put in some other details into his write-up of the visit that may not have necessarily been true, that the pain may have been more and it may have been happening at other times. And, now we're on the edge of, are we committing fraud? Are we cheating Medicare? Did we lie to get services that we shouldn't normally have? And that's a hazy area for me. I didn't write the information into the computer. He did. I took the order for the X-ray. He told me to go immediately get it so that the X-ray is in place before I do the MRI. I went around the corner, got into a place, and 10 minutes later they did the X-ray, and that's done out of the way. And then I'll have my MRI tomorrow, right after softball. So, so what I'm trying to say is, it's been my history that doctors will do this, especially since I've been on Medicare. They know the rules, they know what will get approved and won't get approved, and they know what's best for their patients. They know it's not a straight line from here's the problem, here's the diagnosis, here's the treatment. With Medicare, it's a little hazy of which way you have to go, excuse me, and what you have to have done in order for Medicare to pay for these services. So is it wasteful? Yeah. I mean, the idea that I have to get X-rays and pay for X-rays and Medicare then has to pay for X-rays is a waste. Certainly, Doge wants to look for waste. There it is. It's a little bit more difficult to find, and it may be that there's 30, 40, 50 million people going through this. These extra services that Medicare is paying for, even though they don't amount to anything. There's many tests you have to do that beforehand are probably not going to reveal anything. Now, it may come out the x-ray shows I have a pelvic bone chip or something, and, it did reveal something. But my experience is, in the past, the x-ray has never revealed anything that we didn't expect the x-ray to reveal. I even had an incident about 6 months ago where, I had problems with my ankle. They did the x-ray. It felt like a soft tissue injury, and the x-ray showed nothing. The MRI then showed a chip in my cartilage and bone that x-ray may have caught, but, because of the angles and where it was, it just didn't catch it. So it's iffy. So yeah, the doctor fabricated a story to help me. And doctors do it all the time. I'm telling you, this goes on all the time. Am I complicit? I guess that's for someone else to answer. I'm going along with it. I think it's the best for me. I'm not going to find out what's wrong with me until I get the MRI. And that may reveal nothing. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll update you, maybe I won't. We'll see. What's your experience with physicians and Medicare? Do physicians help you through the process? Do they help you get to where you need to go and have Medicare cover it? Or are they just very rigid to you and say, here's all I can do, Medicare won't pay for this, I'm not going to do it? I'm interested in hearing what other people experience, because for every single doctor I go to, they're very helpful. And this goes back many years before Medicare. I've had circumstances with one doctor in particular where, actually two doctors, where my private health insurance wasn't going to pay for something after I had it done. At one point, the doctor had to write a very long note to the insurance company and make the case for me, and he took the time and did that and convinced the insurance company that they needed to cover this. Two other times, both after surgeries, the insurance company decided they weren't going to pay for it. Now, this isn't just something, this is thousands of dollars, and this isn't just something a doctor can write a note and the insurance company say, oh, well, the doctor says we should pay, I'm going to pay. So what actually happened in those circumstances is I contacted the Illinois Department of Insurance, and both times, after a lot of up and back, they forced the insurance company, may have been two companies, I don't recall, Juno's calling me, they forced the insurance companies to cover it. So again, in my experience, physicians go out of their way to help us. Is it right or wrong? You tell me. We'll see. I'll let you know, I guess. But give me your comments. Tell me what you think about this. As always, please subscribe if you like this content. Like, share, and we'll see you next time. Bye.